The Love Drive is brought to you by SecDrive, powered by Yakadicto Network, a product of Ultimate Multimedia Consult.
Hello viewers, welcome to Love Drive on SecDrive. Today we are going to be looking at love today and love in the past. We have seen changes in the love we have been experiencing in the past and love that is happening today. With me to discuss this topic is a gentleman on my right. I would like to invite him to introduce himself.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you, host. My name is Kasiri Martin, and I'm very happy to be here and a guest on this show.
Thank you, Mr. Kasiri Martin. And to the extreme right, I have a lady. I would like to give her a chance also to introduce herself.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Jen Semakula Ndivalekida, and I'm glad to be here to talk about love. Yeah.
You're welcome, Jen. Viewers, as we go deep into this topic, we are going to compare love today and love in the past. How do you compare love today, Martin, and love in the past?
Well, Jeff, like anything, love over time has evolved, and it has moved from what it used to be to something that is entirely different. And I believe if our grandparents were to come back, they would not recognize some of the things we do today for love. So yes, I compare love in the past. Love in the past was more of actual love. It was emotion. It was two people connecting. It was families coming together for union, companionship, and raising children. But today, I think love is more of feeling, as the young people like calling it, a vibe. It is many things, and many of those things are not love in the actual sense.
Martin, you've talked about our grandfathers and grandmothers coming back together. What are those unique things that they experienced in those days that is not happening now?
I think one of the things that they experienced was honesty and truth. The material aspect was not as much as it is today. And it was more of families rather than individuals, where one family and the other got together to bring their sons and daughters together in union to form a family.
Jen, as a lady, what is your perception about this?
Actually, personally, I think, yes, love from the past and love today has changed. But I don't think I agree with Martin when he says that today it's more materialistic. I believe love, like anything else, is evolving. I'll give an example of technology. Where did we start from? Where are we now? I believe also in terms of love, we are changing. The human race is evolving. You've seen things of the past coming back. So I believe even love is in that process. There are some of the things that are happening today in love that are actually good, that our parents didn't experience. You get? So for me, yes, love has changed properly. Okay. There are exaggerations here and there, especially when it comes to functions. People really are not doing it for love, they're doing it to show off. Those are some of the bad things that are coming up. But all in all, love as it is, people are still caring. People still love each other. Also, the economy has done a lot to change the way love is perceived. You'll find a lady telling you, I will not date a guy who doesn't drive a car. And a guy will go, and he's a boda guy, he'll borrow a friend's car and he'll come and the lady will go. So it means even our economy and our situation right now has brought out very many things people mistake for love. It is not really love, but it's because they want to get what they want. I think it's evolving, and I think there are people who are actually benefiting from the way it's evolving now. Yeah.
Okay, Jen. You've talked about technology. This to me means a lot of things happening. The evolution of telephones. For example, when Martin talks about the love that was there in the past, where people used to write letters, and you wait for that reply 3 or 4 days. Today it's just a hi, I miss you too, But don't you think that this has brought about lust rather than love?
Actually, I don't think in the past, because you had to actually wait for the letter, it meant you actually loved the person so much. Because even in the past, you'd find people who meet in the bitoke, in bushes. You get, it was also immediate, and they were meeting immediately. You get, right now I actually feel this love of the text, the communication. I feel it's even easier because you get to understand how the other person is instead of being anxious. In the past, you send a letter, and if it's supposed to come after a week, if that week it doesn't come, someone kills themselves, or mommy, and they say, oh. But when maybe the courier has a problem, the letter just didn't come, you get. I believe right now, the way we communicate, if you send someone a hi and they blue tick you and they don't respond to you again, you get, you understand it and you perceive it immediately instead of being there and you're asking, why is he thinking about me? He has blue ticked you, he has not responded, it means it's done, move on. I believe right now love tells us what it is depending on how people communicate with you about it.
Okay, Martin, what is your take about the whole issue Jenna has talked about? Because it seems in the middle there, when she was expressing something, you laughed here and laughed there. So it seems you have a different opinion about this thing altogether.
Of course, this is a bit of the man's side, but also my personal side.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, yes, the communication and the faster communication today has made love easier and faster, but at the same time, it has lost that sentiment or that step-by-step gradual process, because in the process of waiting for the letter, attachment and fondness will grow for this person.
Okay.
But with ease of communication, it's one of the reasons you find people jumping from A to B to C. Though, with also ease of communication, the chances of love and easier connection, compared to where if you would meet someone and you'd not get to know where they stay, where they come from, you'd not be able to communicate with them. So in this point, I'm torn between ease of communication and the letters. But I think everything is subject to how you use it and subject to moderations. Too much of modern communication can kill love, and too little of backward communication can also spoil it.
Okay. I get it. Now, you talk about communication. Let's zero it to phones. Do you think that phones have really spoiled relationships today, and why?
Not, like I said, everything in moderation. If you use the phone poorly, of course, you don't expect good results. But if used well, can be a very good channel through which to communicate and make your love stronger and actually put out your points and maybe win the heart of someone and eventually going to marriage. But we've also seen people that have lost out in relationships because of the phones. And in some...
Have you lost one?
I can't comment on that on this forum, but we've seen relationships that have actually died and have not even kicked off because of phones, because maybe someone wanted to check their phone, maybe someone sees you posting, or so I believe everything in moderations, if used well, is good, but phones have to be navigated. And I believe this is a discussion you need to have early on in the relationship. There are people that are not have any problem with you touching their phone, sharing their phone. And there are those that are private and they don't feel comfortable you sharing their phone with them.
Do you check your friend's phone?
You know, they say, if you look for something, eventually you'll find it. So I'm not looking for anything, so I'll find nothing.
Okay, Jen, now what is your take about telephone phones and
So this phones thing is okay. Martin is trying to make it sound like the phones are the problem. In love and in relationships, it is not the gadgets, it's not whatever you're using, it's the people. So first of all, one of the first things you have to have in a relationship is trust. If you trust the person you're with in a relationship, there is nothing that will come to your head that will tell you, let me even check the phone and see if there are other women. You get? The phone is just a catalyst. People who use phones badly, people who check their partner's phones, people who use phones badly in general are people who don't trust their partners. If you have a person and they are every time you're on your phone, every time you talk to someone in the night, every time they're asking you questions, or was that, you know that this person actually doesn't trust me. And then also, I think it should also be like the things the way people use phones. You be with your partner and you're somewhere and someone is on their phone and your partner is there doing nothing. They look bored. It's different if both of you are on your phones. Okay. It might mean that you guys have been talking and now you want a break and you're on your phones. Mm-hmm. So I think the phone shouldn't be the problem. It is the person.
Okay.
This whole love thing is people's behaviors, people's attitudes. If I trust you, I will personally tell you, I hold my husband's phone. I check
you're married.
it.
You didn't tell us that.
I check it. I check his phone. He checks my phone.
Okay.
Because I believe there is nothing in my phone for him to find.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Before making a phone call to thank you for telling us you're married. Before making a phone call to your husband, you first rehearse what you're going to say?
Why? Why would I rehearse what I'm going to say?
Because I remember when we were writing letters to our girlfriends in the past days, we used to bring out Bibles to look for that, that book of Song of Songs. You reach out the dictionary, get out to the writing part that is smelling nice, and you write that wonderful, vocal-rich letter to the lady, and when she reads, she's like, oh God, is it happening now on our gadgets? I
think that's a question for Martin, who is single. Because me now, why would I be rehearsing to call my husband? Like, husband, so Martin, maybe you're the
to
one
show
who can
how deep the affection is.
You're married. It means the affection was there.
Yes, Martin.
Really, this is putting me between a rock and hard place. But for what purpose the phone call is intended? But rehearsing sounds so artificial. So I would say you just talk to the person, but of course the overall aim determines what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. If you're at this stage where you're trying to get this person and express your emotions and tell them, you know what, I think you and me can be A, B, C, and D. Of course, you try to say the nice things and sugarcoat them and the sweetener things, but at some point it should be flowing naturally. And I think you also gauge the response, because there are people where naturally both of you are on the same communication wavelength and you don't have to maybe sugarcoat a lot, praise here and there, refer to the dictionary for big words, or refer to...
That is how long into the relationship?
I'm thinking the initial stage. But with time, you have to keep things spiced up, and the same energy you started with should not die the moment someone says, you know what, we are committed, or we are so and so. So in all is, I believe you can say your communication is determined by your intentions.
Okay. All right, thank you, Martin. Jen, at which level does a relationship come to this thing of honey, your food is ready, then from honey, your food is ready, Martin, your food is on the table. Hello, Martin, will you eat? At what level we need to understand, because with this thing of love, we need to know that at this level I have to call, or Some of us it is constant, or some of the people it is not constant.
I think that's your question.
I don't know if
Okay, let me rephrase the question.
No. I've understood the question.
Okay.
I've understood the question. This is what I have to say. So there are no stages, and I think it's not right for you to say that in love there are stages. At this level you're calling honey, at this level there are no stages in love or in relationships. I believe the way you call a person depends on the situation and the mood you're in. I'll give you an example. If you've been calling honey, 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 baby, and then you might have a fight, a serious one. And in that period, you're like, I can't call honey. You call the person their name. But that can be like once. Then tomorrow you come back to honey. So there is no relationship or marriage or that is flat.
How do you call him?
Straight.
At this stage, I understand you have a ring, and that is...
They're not stages. Even now, even in a relationship, even if you're not married.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Love Drive at Sec Drive, and we shall have a break, and then we shall come back and discuss why there is drought in long-lasting relationship today.
The Love Drive is brought to you by Sec Drive, powered by Yakadicto Network, a product of Ultimate Multimedia Consult.
Welcome back, viewers. We are on Love Drive on Sec Drive, and we've been discussing love today and love in the past. We had a very interesting conversation here with my colleagues. Now, we want to look at why there is drought in long-lasting relationships. Martin, what is your say about the drought in those long-lasting relationships? We always had that people are married, our judges used to get married for 30 years. Today someone gets married in 2 weeks, and the third week she has divorced, or he has divorced. What is your take about
starters, that? I have problems with the question. Drought is a very wrong word. Drought meaning short term, shortage, meaning why do they end early? Because perspective in this area is very, very important. How you see things and perceive them. Because, for example, that question, when you said drought, what exactly do you mean?
So you've gone the Chiganda way of drought. Okay, I mean, why there is shortage of long-lasting relationships today?
From personal experience, or from advice for people that have been married.
Personal experience.
I'll combine both. How you get to know each other, and the foundation of your relationship is very important. One man told me that it pities us, the younger generation, where we meet in disco lights and you're seeing this person in red, blue, and green, and the excitement, and by the time you actually get to know them, you realize this is not the right person for me. Or by the time you get to know the actual person, you are 1 year down in marriage.
Is it the problem of where we meet our spouses, where we find them?
It's the foundations on which the relationship is built.
Jen, is it, what is your say about that? Is it the area where we meet them, or how we meet?
Like I said, relationships and marriage, all those things don't matter. I think you can meet a person and in 6 months you're married and you live happily ever after. And you can see people who be together for 10 years and they get married and they break up in 1 year. All this is about how you treat yourselves. These days, the reason you see very many young people go into marriages and then leave is because of why they're in these marriages. Like I said, the economy has been bad for the past 2 years. But even before, we are seeing girls marrying for money. You're seeing someone marrying someone, you literally know they are mistreating the person. But because the person buys them a car, they have a big house, and they go to expensive places, the person is like, I'll handle. Yeah, as long as I'm in my big mansion. Very many people are in big mansions crying. Yes. I'm not saying everyone in big mansions is crying, but I'm saying we've seen people there and they reach a point and they're like, not because of the money, and they leave. So these conditions in which marriage is being seen these days you see someone doing a wedding or a function and you're like, wow. And then 3 months down the road, their house is repossessed, their cars are repossessed. But why? It is because the society these days has brought perspectives or perceptions that we didn't know. So that is why it is hard. That's why the drought is there. Even someone who can be in a marriage where maybe they are not well off, and you actually believe because you're together and because you can work together, you can actually make this work. The woman feels like, me, I came from money, so you're mistreating me. They leave you. You get? So it's really the situations and the way people are meeting. I think that's what Martin means by what the foundation is. But mine could be, the foundation could be on when you're meeting a person, what have they seen in you? You see men who come and on the first date, they take you to Sheraton or Serena. When you're leaving, he's dropping you in his car and he'll give you 500,000. You ask for airtime. He'll ask for airtime and he'll send you 100,000. Then it means I am going to put it in my head that this guy actually has the money. So if at any one time in a relationship that money reduces, you can't send me the airtime of 100, I'll say, what's happening to this one? I'll jump. Also, I won't understand whether you want me for me or you just want to impress me with your money.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's the situations happening that, and now I think men have realized, okay, if I want that girl, even if I just want her for some, me throw my millions on her, she gives me, I run away. Yeah. And sadly, this is where everything is going. Someone even ends up marrying a person, but because this person said, I won't do anything with you unless we are married. And they reach marriage and the guy just moves on to another person.
Okay, that reminds me, taking Martin back to the foundation. In the past, they used to tell us love was like a sugar cane. They used to start it on top, and by the time you reach the bottom, when you start the sugar cane up, it comes sweet as you go down. So the love was hard at the first when you were entering marriage, and when at the bottom, by the time you're all old and everything, love is at its peak. How true is that?
I would disagree a bit, but definitely love has its ups and downs. For different people, it has been a sugarcane. For other people, it's been the other way around. It's sweet at the bottom and all lovey-dovey, and in the end, people are throwing flat irons at each other.
You see, Jen has just said it, that when I want some, just for some, I'll take you to Sheraton. That is starting the sugarcane from the bottom, and then by the time it comes up, that's what you're saying. We throw iron, flat irons at each other.
Well, yes, that has happened, but I believe there are ups and downs, and how you work through them will determine which moment of the sugarcane you're going through.
Okay.
You can have sweet and sour, or sweet and sweet constantly, or sweet and sour, or sour constantly. But depending on how you work through the different situations, you will have moderations, of course, of both, or you will have one high at a certain point. So how you work on the situation you're in, I think, determines the next phase or how long you are in that situation.
Okay, Jen?
Actually, me, I think when you're asking the question, you're using an example of marriage. They say at the beginning, marriage is hard, and then as it goes. So here's the truth. Before, like if you're cohabiting, you're staying with your loved one, you love each other, you're in that situation, but before you actually get married, everyone has it at the back of their minds. In case I really get tired of this person, I can leave. There's free will, you can leave. But once you go into that church, in front of your families and in front of God, and say, I want to be with this person, reality comes into the picture. So those first years, they usually say the first years are the hardest. It's because those first years, both of you are looking at your lives and you're like, I'm with this person forever. Okay. All the small things that would irritate you, before you'd be like, when I get tired of this, I'll leave. Now, you're like, okay, now I have to actually stick on my irritations. because it's not going anywhere. So that is why you really, one of the things people say is a cliche, is you have to marry your friends. But this is something I will say: you have to marry your friend.
Okay.
You have to marry someone you can talk to freely. You have to marry someone where if you do stupid things, they know that is Jen. I know that is her. You have to marry someone who, just by looking at you, they know that something is wrong with Jen. So if you don't marry your friend, if you just get into a situationship, you're all lovey-dovey, it's all fun, and you get into marriage, reality will hit you. You've not been cooking, you've been going to restaurants.
To KFC.
The woman starts cooking and you don't like the way she cooks. But because she's your wife, you don't want to tell her. You start coming when you're full, you won't eat her food. That is how slowly marriages start.
That reminds me, I have a friend, whenever he leaves work, goes to a joint, eats, gets full, goes back home, and just eats a pitch. Now, the wife knows that the guy does not eat a lot. When we are with him as the boys outside, actually, we eat, and we know he's one of the best eaters around Uganda. So I understand your situation. I understand what you're talking about. But again, now we want to go back as we conclude. Should we leave this? Should we leave love in the past, love today, or we leave it for the future as it is?
Allow me answer first.
Okay.
I think let us let love evolve. Like we are letting everything evolve. Even the love of the past is going to come back. I'll give you an example. In the past, we used to wear bell bottoms. If you've seen them, they are back and they are trending. So let us let love evolve. Like everything else, it will come back. There are things our parents used to do back then, or our grandparents, that we didn't even know about and we are doing. Even love, this is going to end. You see, when the government shut down big weddings and small weddings has started, it became a trend. Right now, you can't hear someone saying, I'm planning a wedding of 5,000. They're looking for 200, 100 people. So all these things are going to come back. We're even going to go back to our traditions. So let love evolve. Let us, because we don't even know what's in the future. I don't think we can say we're going back in the past. We're going forward. So even with love, let us evolve with it. That's all I can.
Okay, Martin.
My perception on this is let us embrace, of course, the evolution, but cautiously. Let us also borrow or try to learn from the past the good things and apply them today, those that are applicable, but also have a way forward, or look at a situation where we can not only rely on today and in the past, but as two individuals, what works for us. I mean, a unique situation that applies to you two in the relationship. You could have a solution that applies to you two that is not from the past or to the future. So much as we are looking at the past, we can learn from the past, apply what is in the present, but also look towards the future, or look towards other alternatives that apply or can work to your marriage or to your love or to your relationship.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is we should not unleash our nuclear bombs in public. We should leave everything in the bedroom as our grandfathers used to.
That was a good principle from the past and served well.
It is going to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Geoffrey Mugisa, your host on Love Drive on Sec Drive. I've been having with me on my extreme right, Madame Jen, who in the middle of the conversation confessed that she's married and she was giving her experience as a married person. And in the middle, I didn't get a chance to know the status of this gentleman, though I could tell that there is someone, or there is a plan to have someone. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall be having these conversations more often, and please like our YouTube channel, subscribe, and this show is sponsored by Ultimate Multimedia Consult, and we are based on Gaba Road. Check it out on Facebook, Ultimate Multimedia Consult, on Twitter, at Ultimate Multimedia Consult, and we have the phone numbers around. If you want to be a guest on our show, please reach out, communicate to us, and we shall kick this rolling. I've been your host, Geoffrey Mugisazwa, here at Love Drive on Sec Drive. This program is proudly sponsored by Ultimate Multimedia Consult, a consultancy firm that offers value-added news, information, knowledge products, and services. For more information,
The Love Drive is brought to you by Sec Drive, powered by Yakadicto Network, a product of Ultimate Multimedia Consult.